the ability to capture one's attention and get people to act upon what you say. If I can do that, I can capture attention and be entertaining, but if you didn't act upon it, then I wouldn't say it's influence. A leader with nobody following is just a person going on a walk kind of a thing, so there's got to be a shift and change in behavior as a result of the words that I speak. And
you're about to learn how influence really works, how to read a room, how to show up with presence, how to build the kind of confidence that persuades people and gets people to listen. I'm Trey Tucker. I'm a mental health therapist. This is Rugged, where we make your 20s and 30s legendary. Today, my guest is Rene Rodriguez. I'm super excited about this guy. He's a leading authority on leadership and influence. He's a best-selling author, a keynote speaker, and most importantly, today, he's an expert in applied behavioral neuroscience. He's going to teach us all kind of practical tips. I think you're going to like this guy a lot. Rene, when I first discovered you, I saw your viral videos on body language, communication, just how to present yourself and your presence. So that's what first got me, at least into your universe. So I'm wondering, because therapists, we tend to notice things about people that most people don't realize we're noticing. So when you're just out in public and nobody knows what you know, what do you see and what kind of vibes can you read off people?
Well, one, back at you, because I loved your videos, and so it was fun to connect that way and have that mutual.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting is what I tell people is I try not to observe body language when I'm not on the clock, meaning somebody didn't ask me to, because I feel it can be kind of intrusive, and it can be, the body is an expression of the mind, and so when I'm overanalyzing things, it takes away from the presence of the moment. But I would say that, to answer your question, I think all of us have an intuitive sense of 4 different things that are happening, right? Do I like somebody? Do I not like somebody? Do I trust them? Do I distrust them? Am I attracted? Am I repulsed, right? Those types of things that we're always gauging against in an intuitive manner. You may not have the technical reason as to why, but you have experiential knowledge to know that. And so what the thing that I tell people is, number one, that body language should never lead to conclusion. It should always lead to curiosity. And I don't think any of us appreciate somebody who reads one social cue or one body language cue and then makes an immediate assumption. Like, I'm sitting like this, most of our conversations started like this. Rene, are you defensive? Like, well, actually, I'm kind of cold. I'm sitting here in Minnesota and my studio is freezing right now. So now I just gave you more information. So we look at clusters of information, context, and cues, right? So we want clusters of cues and the context. So let's go to the 3 C's that we look at. So one cue would be my arms are crossed, but then I'm looking for clusters so that I might, if I lead to conclusion, I'm like, oh, he's defensive. But if it leads to curiosity, I might say, hey, how's it going, Rene? I'm like, man, it's freaking cold in here. Now there's another contextual piece of information that I have. And I smile as I say that, which would be the opposite of somebody who's, defensive. So now I look at the cluster of all of it together. Do those cues come in clusters? No, it's just one. And the context kind of beat it out. And so that's the technical side. But I think from an application perspective, be curious about body language. Most people don't have enough training. And I would even venture to say, I might not even have enough to really lead to a sort of an FBI, CIA level interrogation. But do trust yourself to lead to curiosity.
That's good. Yeah, because we all have a set of experiences, a history that we can draw from. Yeah. But I love that, the idea of let's get curious instead of drawing conclusions. It reminds me, you ever watch Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
So that the be curious, not judgmental line.
I haven't watched enough of the episodes, but every time you see there's so much Ted Lasso wisdom out there. It's just kind of fun.
Exactly. But yeah, that one of the more famous lines of that show is him just basically teaching the guy the lessons during a dart game, saying, like, be curious, not judgmental, because they underestimated him and drawing the wrong conclusions.
I love that. I love that. Love it.
When you're trying to read someone, how are there ways to at least get a sense if someone's trustworthy versus just getting more of an inauthentic or them trying to convince you vibe?
Yeah, I think, well, one, body language, you always have to have sort of a baseline. Where's somebody at? And then you look at deviations from that baseline. And so, but, there are things that can scream that it's not there, but it's going to become more of a personal intuition on your end. And again, when you start feeling it, you're probably seeing things, a closed off behavior in some way, shape, or form. So that's what the arms cross, kind of the basic one. They're closed off. Where is their shoulder? Are they squared to you, or are they squared to something else? Where are the feet pointed? Are they feet pointed towards you or towards something else? Imagine, like, think about when you're having a conversation with somebody and you're leaving and you got to keep going, but they stop you. You turn your body and your head, but your feet are still pointing in the direction that you want to go. The only way that you go somewhere is where your feet are headed. And so your feet become one of the first things that sort of show you where their intention is. But now you've caught somebody in mid-stride, or they catch you in mid-stride, and you love this person. You can't wait to talk to them. Maybe it's a celebrity or something. You turn your full body and your full attention and you lean in. And so it's indicating an interest here. It's an indicator of interest. And so there's indicators of interest, indicators of disinterest. There's lots of things like that. And so when you're looking at that, you're looking at just the basic pieces. You can even have, when you're on stage, your palms are open. Say, I'm really excited to see you guys here. But I take those same palms and I turn them upside down and I say, I'm really excited to see you here. And it's almost weird to say, and it's weird to observe because it doesn't make any sense. It's like speaking two languages at the same time. One saying yes, the other one saying no simultaneously, and you don't know which one to believe. And so,
that's strong. Yeah, because I can picture somebody doing that from a stage, and I wouldn't buy it, but I don't know that I would have been able to point out why I wasn't buying it.
Yeah, and you look at enthusiasm, you look at their eyes. They're going to tell you all sorts of things. We know that people smile with their eyes and not their mouth, and so is what's happening with the eyes, and really asking yourself, do I trust this person, is going to be your first indicator of that. And somebody will say, well, eye contact can be deceptive. There's a lot of people that aren't lying and they don't make eye contact. That might be their baseline. It might be how they are. And it might be the best liars are the ones staring you right in the face. And they're the ones lying right to your face. And so, be cautious of those sort of cliched things. The joke is, why I watched half an episode of Lie to Me, so I know that you looked up and to the right. That means you're not telling me the truth. Okay, so hey, I got that joke from like Bill Burr talking about somebody who understands dogs. I watch half an episode of The Dog Whisperer. I know this is not good. Yeah. Dunning-Kruger effect in full effect.
Right. And that's the thing. We all want the instant gratification. So when somebody tells you, well, no, you need a baseline on someone first, there's at least even a part of me that, even though I know that's correct, there's another part that's like, no, I want to be able to draw that conclusion right now, that everybody's got to.
We want the party trick.
Yeah, we want the party trick.
Yeah. I wish it worked that way, though. It's like asking you to diagnose somebody, right away. You're like, oh boy, that would just be, what's that phrase that says, prognosis before diagnosis is malpractice.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, going to the doctor and you say, oh man, I'm in pain. They go, here, try this. You're like, well, don't you want to ask me a few questions first? It's like, hold on a second. Let's get some more information first before we do that.
A little context first.
Yes. Very, very helpful.
All right. Here's one I just thought of on the fly. If, when somebody's just in a room with you and you meet them for the first time, maybe it's some sort of party or something, and you can just feel there's like this energetic connection between the two of you. I'm not necessarily romantic, but have you looked into what's the science behind that connection or the lack of connection?
Yeah, I think there's lots of ways to look at that. I recently saw something that I thought was really interesting. I think you probably even know more about this than I do, is around masculine, feminine energy. And by the way, when I say masculine, feminine, I'm talking about male and female. And there's a lot of feminine qualities that I have, and a lot of masculine qualities that I have, even though I'm 6'3", 260 pounds. And so it is nothing to do with that. But usually there's a balance that's happening where if there's a center line of masculine and feminine, if I'm close to the center line, then I'm usually more attracted to people that are also close to the center line on the opposite end, right?
Yeah.
If I'm hyper masculine, I'll be attracted to somebody who's hyper feminine. And so that balances each other out. And so in that energy or personality trait isn't always about, and isn't just about physical and gender. There's a lot of things that are just whether they're empathetic or not like that. So there's that piece. But I think you look at also language and mirroring and rapport is all an outcome of a lot of these different pieces. And so if somebody is a good storyteller and they're very present with me and the stories are eliciting values and things that I really enjoy, I'm feeling massive rapport with this person. If they're being vulnerable with me, but yet strong, I can really love that duality of what's going on. They're strong, but they're being vulnerable at the same time. And so I feel like I can connect them. I feel like I know them. And so, and a lot of times people that we feel that connection with, what's crazy is that we're usually doing the ones that's doing most of the talking. And they're just really good at asking us questions and taking an interest in us. And so there's a lot of science around, we like people who like us. And usually those people that we just feel that connection with probably like us. And that's a great tool for networking. Instead of trying to go to a networking group and try to get people to like you, go there with the intention of trying to like people. And when you're intentionally trying to proactively like somebody, you'll ask really good questions. You'll dig for positive stuff. And that person will end up really just enjoying your presence.
Ah, that's good. Yeah. So tell me what you think of my framework, because I think a similar idea, and that is I walk into a room and I try to make other people feel welcome or feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But is that still in the realm of liking them, or is that a different?
Absolutely. Who wouldn't want to feel like, think of the majority of the people and how we walk around the world. Like even me, I'm a massive introvert. So I go into social events and I have somebody fly with me. Like my son flies with me almost everywhere I go now, because, and he comes to my events because he's really good at, creating that buffer. And when somebody can be there to help make you feel more comfortable, that is such a gift, because the gift is felt internally. You're easing an inner chaos for me. You're easing an inner insecurity for me. And so, so many people talk about value propositions and what they're offering, features and benefits. They forget, how does somebody feel the moment they walk in? And, we do these events for our customers and our clients. Sometimes they hire us to attract customers to their events. And so we teach a methodology where, if you realize that most people at networking events, they go to the snack area, whatever the food station is, they grab their coffee, they grab their little plate, they put their back against the wall, and they sit there because they don't know anyone.
Yep.
Well, one, they're networking because they're trying to grow a network and they probably aren't real good at it. That's a safe assumption. Well, what if you had the first person come in and they have name tags? Well, the way we say, we tell people, have an 80-point font on the first name on a name tag. I can see that from 15, 20 feet away. So I can see you from 15, 20 feet away and be like, hey, Trey, how's it going? And look at them, I was like, how'd they know me? Wow, that's really cool. They're utilizing their first name. And then, versus these teeny little name tags that have to walk up to your chest and go, oh, Trey, how's it going? I've given it away that I don't know your name. And me as a speaker, if I see that big first name on the front row, I can be like, so as John over here is always, what he's talking about, John's good. Look at his suit. He's great. And he's like, how does he know my name? And I got that idea from accidentally wearing my name tag from an event to a restaurant over lunch over the event. And I walk in and it's like, hey, Rene, how's it going? I'm like, man, people know me. Holy wow. And I'm like, oh, I'm wearing my name tag, But the feeling, I felt special, I felt cool, and I felt welcome. And so I go, what if we manufactured that at an event? Bigger name tag fonts. Okay. So then we go, okay, we teach the first person to walk in and say, hey, Trey, how's it going? Good. What brings you here? Where are you from? Oh, wonderful. Awesome. And then they pick somebody. Have you met Julie? Oh my God. Now, before I meet Julie runs our office. She's one of the most amazing people you've ever met. I'm 15 seconds into our conversation. Come over. Julie, come here. Julie, this is Trey. This is what he does. Julie's trained on the same concept. Cool. Trey, what do you do? Oh man, you work here, so-and-so. That's fantastic. Awesome. Are you enjoying yourself so far? Have you met Bill? Oh my God. Bill's amazing. He's our marketing guy. One of the most creative people over. Let me bring you to Bill. And Bill, this 15, 20 seconds into the conversation, and Bill's trained on the same thing. And Bill goes, oh, that's really fantastic. Have you met Sean? Sean's one of our VPs, man. This guy, I got to tell you, he's got a pedigree of saying, so Sean, come over here. Sean's trained on the same thing. Now, within about 3 or 4 minutes, I've met 6 people. How's that person feeling? And by the way, Bill, Julie, all those people are doing that to other people. They go within 5 minutes, the whole group knows each other.
Wow.
It spreads like wildfire. And now, features, benefits, or that inner solving of an inner chaos. What's more valuable?
Ooh. I love that. Solving that inner chaos. All right. So
but it goes back to but it goes back to what you're saying. your goal is to make people feel comfortable, love it.
Yeah. And so two questions. Number one, how can I do that better? How can I make somebody feel comfortable? Because sometimes I feel like I'm failing at that. But then number two, since you and I are both introverts, I have never felt comfortable in, let's say, mid-sized groups. Like, let's say there's a table of 8 people. I'm always the one that's going to listen first and feel like I'm not contributing enough to the conversation. And just, it's not that I'm necessarily uncomfortable. It's just that I don't know if I'm not thinking of stuff quickly enough to jump in, or I don't know what that is, but I know those are 2 separate questions. So pick either one of them.
Well, so one, I think that we're the being the introvert, we have a massive empathy for the one that's coming in. And so part of us helping them is we're also helping ourselves in a good sense, right? We know the pain, and if I can help resolve the pain, I wish somebody would have done that for me. Yeah. And so I don't know if there's a way to do it better, other than just, having that. But I would say some things to remember is to go first, introduce yourself first, or just be first. Walk up to somebody first and give your name first. Give your business card first. Whatever it is, just be first. And because, one, it's a leadership sign. Leaders go first. They don't wait, and they're setting the tone. But 2, you're getting that initial energy out of the way, and you're establishing some momentum, which through reciprocity will probably come back towards you. Mm-hmm. And so that piece is there. But that mid-size, once you said 8 people, like the hair stood up on the back of my neck, and like, oh my God, I spent a lot of time talking about this and thinking about this too. And it's not that I'm shy, and I don't think it's you're shy. But there's a sense of, there's one side of it that I think it's the older I get, I don't tolerate small talk. I don't have the energy for small talk anymore.
Same.
I want, like, even you and I get on this call, like within the first 2 minutes, we're already starting to talk about stuff, it's like, it's just in it, and it's real, and it's there. And to me, I'd rather be silent and listen than to be just speaking for the sake of speaking. And so, one, I also do like people's stories. And so giving people the space to do that is good. 2, I spend most of my time talking anyways. So let's give somebody else a turn. 3, man, I've probably thought way too much about what I do. So talking about it might feel overpowering, overwhelming. And especially if I don't like small talk. Yeah. It's not going to be a surface opinion. So sometimes I got to just let some of the surface ones go. And even though I want to be like, oh, I don't know if I believe that.
Right.
And so, so I just kind of like back away. And so there's a lot of things that are going on, but the for me, and I'd love to get your take on this, introversion versus extroversion to me is around where we recharge. Yeah. Where do we re-energize? And for me, maybe when I was younger, it was in groups, but it's definitely not that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's not even more complicated than that. And it's a spectrum. A lot of people hear that concept of introvert, extrovert, and they think it's one or all or nothing. But more of us tend to be toward the middle and just kind of shade one direction or the other. But yeah, you and I don't know. I'd have to look and see which direction I feel. I feel like I probably started more on maybe toward the heavily introvert side, and I've by necessity had to move more toward the middle. But you're saying you've moved toward that introvert side too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think because I think it was, I spent a lot of time alone, early on, but then I think it became more introverted as I spent more time doing this kind of work. So I realized that after doing a big keynote or doing a big event or workshop, I even go, at lunch, I go to grab my food, go to my room. And sometimes there's an hour, 45 minutes, I'll close my eyes for 20 minutes. And I'll just sit there and just close my eyes for 20 minutes by myself.
Yep.
Afterwards, unless it's a business meeting and I'm still quote unquote on, I will eat either by myself or with a very small group of people that I know. And it's the only way that I can recharge. Otherwise, I can just sit there in a group and I can be silent for 2 hours and I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah. People assume certain things when we do that. And like you said, that's not the conclusion you should draw. But a lot of times when you say something, people don't get curious. They just make that conclusion.
Yeah. Then they make the mistake of asking me the wrong question that I have a passion for. And then it's like, I can't shut up.
There you go.
Yeah.
From one extreme to the other.
Yep.
So
Yep.
you
Yep.
said something that fascinated me a minute ago in the context of we as introverts, we are being the person that we wish somebody would have been for us in our past experiences. Tell me a little bit about your story and like what did you need back then and maybe how did it lead you into this career you're in now?
Wow, that's a big question. I don't even know where to start on that one. I think because I feel like my career has been always ever evolving, so I don't even know where to where to pinpoint what my career is, right?
Right.
And so obviously, speaker and author, trainer a lot more in the past, sales person way long ago, but still carry that in my heart and soul. I think if I were to pinpoint, focus on communication and influence because I had so little of it growing up. I didn't know how to verbally defend myself. I didn't have the language. I wasn't quick-witted. I didn't know how to make fun of other people back when they made fun of me. And all I had was, my fists. And so I ended up, having to fight. If I was being bullied, I'd take it for a long time. And then at some point, you just had to fight back. And so that was the part where I always felt like, literally felt like I didn't have the words to defend myself. So I had to just be quiet. And if it went too far, then I did know how to use those kind of, as a kid. And then, but I think you grow older, you realize that you want to be able to be a better speaker because then, you can attract the people you want in your life. You can attract the girls. You can have, more influence with your friends. You can convince your teachers of something, whatever it is. There's a jail cell of not being able to express how you feel or an idea. And that prison between our ears is what I felt for so long. And so I spent so much time understanding, well, why do they listen when he or she does it and they don't listen when I do it? And I would watch and analyze and I'd read and I'd watch and analyze and I'd read and I'd, take research and be like, oh, that's how that works. And then every once in a while you get somebody smart that shows you an application, then that triggers an idea. And then you realize that the things that I teach now are the things that I wish I would have learned and somebody would have taught me as a kid. And so then I guess, I think what's interesting, the deeper component of that, what I've learned is that the work that we do now is either to heal our past or to honor it. And there's and sometimes there's both, right? There's a lot of things that I do right now to heal it, to heal that child that didn't know how to speak by teaching other people how to communicate their worth and their value, to honor it through what my mother taught me. And so the good communicators over my life. So it's one of those two.
Wow. Man, that's strong right there. That may need to be another book. That's good. Earlier, you mentioned the idea of why does somebody do it when they said it versus why do they not do it whenever I said it? Take us into this idea of just influence in general, whether it's getting to somebody to say yes or agree with, whatever, however in fact, if you could define influence for me too, that would help.
Yeah. I look at influence very simply as the ability to capture one's attention and get people to act upon what you say. If I can do that, I can capture attention and be entertaining, but if you didn't act upon it, then I wouldn't say it's influence. A leader with nobody following is just a person going on a walk kind of a thing, so there's got to be a shift and change in behavior as a result of the words that I speak. And it was Emerson. He said something along the lines of that the purpose of public speaking is that people are taking an action that they would have never taken in the absence of your words. And I thought that was really powerful. And so then I go, okay, look at jokes. And why is it that some people, they walk in a room and everybody notices? They tell a joke and everyone laughs. They share an idea and everybody loves it. They sell a product and everyone's buying. They cast a vision and everyone is following. Like, wow, that's an amazing feeling. And the contrasting one versus why is it, walk in a room, no one notices. You tell a joke, no one laughs. Sell a product, no one buys. You share an idea, no one cares. You cast a vision, no one follows. The contrasting feelings of significance and insignificance are what I think are the two contrasting feelings of the best experiences in life are having influence and the worst are not having it. Because if you have no significance, meaning you have no impact to the world, I do this and nothing happens. You feel lonely, you feel invisible. And the moment that I am insignificant in a meeting, I wonder why I'm in that meeting. If I feel insignificant in a relationship, I wonder why I'm in that relationship. If I feel insignificant at work, I wonder why I work there. So the lack of influence creates insignificance, and the feeling of insignificance triggers the question of purpose. But when I have it, I'm in a relationship and I feel significant. I know why I'm in this relationship. I am at work feeling significant. I know why I'm in this and why I work here. And, so now having it, my purpose is clear. And so I go, maybe that's the bridge. Where I'm influential and where I'm actually able to create influence and impact is where purpose is found. And so it's a deeper look at it than a persuasion tool, much deeper. I think it's a purpose barometer, maybe a purpose tool, whatever you want to call it. And so when we think about it from that perspective, I look at and saying, okay, how is it that can I grow my influence? And really it's about how do I create a bigger impact on the world? That's how I'd look at it. That's how I define it. You had a second question there. I don't know if I answered it though.
You did, maybe without even directly addressing it, is how to have influence or be influential. But I think your answer is one of the reasons I gravitated to your content without even meeting you. Is just I could tell that it wasn't salesy. It was something much more heart-based than that. And it had a sense of gravity and purpose to it. And I just never heard you put words to it like that. But that's exactly what drew me to you in the first place.
Thank you. That's a big compliment coming from you. I think that I look at it from this perspective to depression. Movement through life is almost the natural serotonin, which is what's lacking in depression, right? Yep. And the studies, just movement, the world moving across your retina and cornea creates more serotonin. Right. And the setting and achievement of a goal, the vision of an outcome creates anticipation of reward, which triggers dopamine. And so goal setting and goal achievement create self-esteem. And so we look at like these basic like formulas that we know. And I have family members that have struggled with depression, anxiety, and everything. And you grab them by the ears and you pull them into a world where they're surrounded by different people. They set small goals and achieve them. They're in the gym moving their bodies. And all of a sudden, Lexapro goes from 10 to 7.5 to 5 to 2.5 to forgetting to take it.
Yes.
And it's like, well, isn't that fascinating? But it's the setting and achievement and moving towards something. So then to me, influence in that sense and how to recreate it is how do I get people to pay attention to an idea like that, even in the midst of the chemistry in their minds not doing that? Meaning, how do I trigger that chemistry now? Through maybe its vision and in setting a vision of possibility with someone. And then using that vision of possibility to move them towards a small, teeny tiny achievement. Like somebody once said, well, I'm not achieving my goals. Well, maybe you're not setting them small enough.
Yeah.
I was always told to set biggest goals, stretch goals. It's a good way to set okay, high performers, I get it. Professional athletes, yeah, Navy SEALs, go for it. Yeah. The rest of us normal people, when we feel like we're failing nonstop, a stretch goal is just going to perpetuate that horrible feeling. I got to stack a win, even if it's getting my feet to touch the floor today.
Yes.
Tomorrow, I take one step. I had to do it with my mom. So I think that we're looking at, depression, anxiety, and there are some tools within our reach to shift that.
Amen. And you might be giving the same answer when I ask you this question, but here it comes. Let's say people in their 20s, maybe early 30s. I mean, there are a whole bunch of different directions we could go with this, but one of the things I've found is that and I'm stereotyping here because there's a lot of people I work with face to face in this age range, two of their biggest needs, communication skills, but then even deeper than that, a real sense of identity and that purpose. So what practical steps would you give somebody that doesn't feel like they know who they are or why they're valuable or why they're significant or what they're even doing on this earth, so that all they've heard from social media is you got to get rich by the time you're 25 and then you're set if you do that?
Oh my God. I know. Well, it's just that whole, if you're not doing X, that you're nothing. If you're in, okay, I get the motivational factor of that. But that assumes and by the way, the people that gravitate towards those messages, we know, are people that are missing that fatherly figure in their life.
Amen.
And because they're missing it, they're going to gravitate towards this hyper masculine, excuse my language, full of shit approach to life that is just not reality. Am I motivated by setting a big goal and somebody trigger my ego? Yeah, of course. I can be macho that way. And there's parts of me that are driven that way and proving myself, of course. But if I was at the depths of what's going on, is that the way that's going to work? I don't know. That person would have to be ready for that moment. But is it a long-term solution? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Because the chase of material things, which is the pursuit of happy, and we know that happy is fleeting.
Yep.
Comes and it goes. But the journey to that fleeting moment can be months, if not years. And you go, what was all that for this moment?
Yeah.
And so I think, who was it that said this? I think it was Huberman, because dopamine is the anticipation of reward, but the journey is all suffering. And dopamine, if you can envision the outcome, is the cheerleader along the way.
Mm.
And so the error is the pursuit of pleasure and versus finding pleasure in the pursuit.
Yes.
And so if we can find pleasure in the pursuit, we find meaning and purpose, because at the end of achievement, we already felt like we achieved throughout the entire way.
Mm.
And there might be an accoutrement at the end. There might be a benefit, but we know that's fleeting. It comes and it goes. Like my best example of this is like 30 years ago, I was holding my first chief executive magazine. And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh man, like if I could be in this magazine, I am set for life. All I got to be is in this magazine. If I can get CEOs to read it, I can speak at their event. Oh my God. All I got to do is, and they can all hire me. This would be great. Well, I finally wrote my book, and I was in Fast Company, Inc. magazine, Forbes, and Maxim, and in Maxim for some reason, and then chief executive. And I remember holding it going, oh my God, looking at this article and saying, I can't believe it. It's been 27 years. And it's just like a little tear in my eye. And then I'm just feeling this moment, trying to really take it. And why did they use my fat photos? And they used the wrong photos. I don't know how they found these on the internet, but those are not the photos of what I lost 100 pounds. And I was so angry, and that moment of happiness was gone.
Yep.
And all I could think about was the stupid fat photos, right? And it's like 27 years for this feeling that came and went and did nothing else.
Yep.
Okay. There's got to be more to it, man. There's got to be more to it. This damn fat photo.
It reminds me of I don't know if you've seen the Tom Brady video from years ago, where he literally says that phrase you just said. There's got to be more to it than this. And this is after he had won Super Bowls and accomplished so much. And it speaks to your point. It's like, yeah, you get it. And then it doesn't do what you think it's going to do.
Never does. It's a promise that never delivers.
Yep. Promise that never delivers. Rene, you're awesome. We got to do this again. And for now.
Anytime, my friend.
Yeah. Tell people where they can find you, what's next for you, all that.
Sure. You can follow me on Instagram at Learn with Rene. That is Rene, RENE. My website is Meet Rene. That's MEET.com. Meet Rene, RENE.com. And yeah, we've got webinars. I think there's one coming up after we drop this, but we do them on a monthly basis. Got a book, Amplify Your Influence. If you like that, check it out on a podcast.
Right there.
Yeah, there it is, right there. You got the OG one, man. You literally have one with no best-selling author on that one.
Oh no! Okay, well, I got to get the new one then. I didn't know you changed
it. That's like the original one. Those should be worth more.
There you go. That's right.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, my friend. This is fun and always a great conversation. I'm a huge fan of what you do, and I think your work is so needed in today more than ever. They need to hear your voice. Young men need to understand that there is a voice out there that doesn't have to follow what you see on social media. There's science behind it. There's a pathway through it. The feelings that you're feeling right now, there are solutions, and you're not the only one, and you're not the first, nor you're the last to feel these things. It's part of the process. And I think, Trey, your voice is one of those guides that people need. So keep doing what you're doing.
Man, I'm ready to run through a wall, brother. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, thanks for being here today. I hope it brought you some value. I'll see you next time.